My beloved child, hear me. Your increase is not your strength, it is my gift. The ideas that visit you in the night, the open doors that seem to appear out of nowhere, the favor that rests on you in rooms you did not build. These are not medals pinned to your chest by human applause. They are signs that my hand has been upon you. You have taken seriousness seriously. You have tried to be responsible, to be diligent, to be steady when others were shaken. I have seen the spreadsheets, the late nights, the careful plans you crafted like nets to catch a future. I honor diligence, I bless stewardship. But listen closely, my child, because a subtle shift has crept into your heart. A small sentence forming in the quiet. My hands will save me. I am interrupting that sentence right now. You did not click on this by accident. This is not a coincidence or a mere passing video. I stepped into your feed, into your timing, into your very breath to rescue you before your careful wisdom matures into worship of your own strength. I am not correcting you to shame you. I am rescuing you from trusting yourself more than me. Shame crushes, but I am lifting. Condemnation paralyzes, but I am freeing. My child, I will not sit by and watch the child I love place a crown on self-reliance and call it prudence. You have said, I am just doing what I must. I am just being faithful. And yes, there is faithfulness in your effort, but underneath, a trembling agreement has been forming with a lie that if you just push a little harder, think a little longer, strategize a little smarter, you will secure your future without needing to lean quite so heavily on me. You have made vows in pain. I will never be poor again. I will never be at the mercy of anyone again. And those vows felt like strength, but they became cords around your heart. I am untying those cords now, not because I want you weak, but because I want you free. Listen to me. Lack can make you pray, but abundance can make you forget. The storm drives you into the house, but the sunshine can lull you to sleep outside of it. Blessing can lift, but it can also destroy when it rests on a heart that believes it is its own source. An inheritance is not only a reward, it is also a test hidden beneath the light. The enemy is not intimidated by your effort. He is terrified of your dependence. He would prefer you to be a successful orphan who does not reach for the Father, because success without me looks like safety, but it is the most dangerous version of you. I am drawing a line for you today, not because I desire to diminish what is coming, but because I am enlarging your capacity to carry it without it carrying you away. I promised my people that it is I who gives power to create and sustain wealth, that I place strength in human hands to build what reflects my covenant love. Understand this word. I give power not to inflate your ego, but to anchor you deeper in my heart. I pour out ability not so that you forget me, but so that the world remembers me through you. You have prayed for acceleration. You have asked me to remove delays. You have felt the press of deadlines and the pressure of expectations, and quietly you have taken the weight that was never meant to be yours. My child, when the ground seems slow to yield, and when the season feels stubborn, it is not always because you did something wrong. Sometimes I slow the outward harvest to heal the inward posture. Sometimes I hide you not as punishment, but as protection, keeping you under the shadow of my wings until your heart can hold what your hands are asking for. I am not late, I am precise. My silence never means my absence, and my timing is not neglect, it is surgery. Do you feel that ache in your chest when money is mentioned? The knot in your stomach when you think about provision? I see it. I have counted every tear that mixed with your budget. I have watched you smile while your mind ran 1,000 anxious calculations. I do not despise you for this. I draw near to you in it. But I must speak plainly. When your heart whispers, my hands will save me, those hands become your idol, and idols always demand sacrifices I never asked for. Your sleep, your joy, your peace, your nearness to me. I will not share you with a false god called self-sufficiency. So hear my decree from the throne room over your portion. I am your source. I am the river beneath your field, the rain above your seed, the breath in your ideas. Without me, you can gather but not keep. You can run but not arrive. You can win but not rest. With me, even in a lean place, you will have a table. With me, even with fewer resources, you will find strategies that confound the wise. I am not trimming your dream. I am pruning your dependence so the fruit will be sweet and the branch will not snap beneath it. Be still. Return to me before you return to the plan. Put the spreadsheets under my light. Lay the calendars at my feet. Say with your mouth, Father, my hands are not my Savior, you are. Invite me back into the center, not as a ceremonial prayer at the beginning of meetings, but as the daily bread of your motives. When you feel the surge to prove yourself, pause and ask, am I building an altar to results, or am I building a testimony to your faithfulness? This is how you will be kept. I am saying this with urgency because I love you. I am jealous for your attention, not because I am insecure, but because I am the only one who can keep your heart alive when favor comes. If I let you run without this correction, the very doors I plan to open would become hallways that lead you away from me. I withhold no good thing from those who walk with me, and when I pour out, it will be good and it will be guarded. Stay with me through this message. Let conviction do its holy work, because on the other side is comfort. I will not leave you exposed. I will speak to your shame around money and lift it off. I will give you instructions for provision without pride. I will authorize ideas, favor, and open doors, safeguarded by humility. This begins as a rescue, and it will end as rest. Take my hand now, my beloved child, and let us walk out of the house of self-reliance and back under the shadow of my wings. My beloved child, come closer. Let us walk into the field of your heart before we walk into any field of harvest. I am placing my hand gently but firmly on a subtle vine that has grown along your walls. It does not look wild. It looks tidy, disciplined, reasonable. You have called it wisdom. You have named it maturity. But its fruit is a sentence whispered when you are alone. I must do this myself. Hear me and do not be afraid of this examination. This is not exposure to embarrass you. This is light to heal you. Remember me in the harvest, because the most hidden danger waiting in plenty is the quiet thought that says, I did this. I see the vows you made in pain. I can't depend on anyone. I won't be disappointed again. I'll never be vulnerable about money. I'll keep control so I can stay safe. These words did not sound proud in the moment. They sounded like survival. They were built from memories where help did not come on time, where promises cracked under pressure, where budgets were tight and eyes watched you with pity. You carried those moments like stones and you stacked them into a wall. You call it independence. But in truth, it has become a wall that blocks intimacy with me. It keeps you from leaning. It keeps you from asking. It keeps you from lingering long enough in my presence to let me breathe on your plans. It silences your prayer life into short updates instead of surrender, into quick reports instead of resting your head against my chest. My child, underneath that wall is fear, soft, constant, and exhausting. Fear of being disappointed again. Fear of poverty stalking your footsteps. Fear of needing help and being told no. Fear that if you surrender control, you will be crushed under the weight of someone else's decision. I see the flinch in your heart when a bill arrives. I see the careful hoarding of energy because you worry about unseen earthquakes. I see you checking balances at midnight as if numbers can promise you sleep. I do not condemn you for these reflexes. I come closer to them. I trace them to their root so I can pull out the thorn, because thorns tangle around worship and make praise feel heavy. The enemy knows this pathway well. He rarely begins with obvious sin. He begins with something that sounds like excellence. He hands you self-sufficiency dressed as wisdom, caution disguised as righteousness, suspicion marketed as stewardship. He says, protect yourself, don't be naive, double your hustle so you'll never be at the mercy of anyone. He borrows the tone of prudence and uses it to teach you how to live like an orphan with a well-organized calendar. He is not impressed when you avoid obvious traps. If you build a quieter snare around your heart, the one that keeps me at arm's length while you perfect your spreadsheets. Be alert. Not all efficiency is obedience. Not all caution is trust. Not all I'm just being careful is free from the tremor of unbelief. So I ask you questions to loosen the soil. If I bless you quickly, will you still pray? If I open the door, will you still bow? If I increase you, will you still obey? If I multiply the results you have waited for, will you still wait for my whisper before you move? If the pressure lifts, will you still stay low? If you no longer fear the checkout line or the end of the month, will your gratitude be as loud as your petitions once were? Do not rush past these questions. Let them sit with you like surgeons in silence. They are not meant to accuse you. They are meant to anchor you. You have asked me for more, and I am not offended by your request. I am the Father who loves to give good gifts, but I must teach you the way of the harvest before the harvest arrives, because the greatest threat to your future provision is not lack. It is a heart that forgets me when it finally has enough. My people were warned of this in the wilderness. When the houses are full and the fields are fruitful, and the storehouses sing, do not say in your heart, my power and my hands did this. Remember, 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 because memory is worship when it traces every good thing back to my hand. How do you remember me in the harvest? You rehearse the rescues you did not notice. You tell the stories of doors that opened when you had no key. You acknowledge the ideas that came like falling stars you could not manufacture. You mark the days when peace arrived without explanation. You see the friends I sent like anchors at the right time. You name the near accidents that never became headlines. You take your ledger and you write grace on lines where you had once written luck. You pause before you count, and you count my faithfulness first. This is the difference between boasting and bearing witness. This is how abundance becomes testimony instead of temptation. I am not asking you to abandon diligence. I am asking you to dismantle the vow that says you must never need anyone, including me. Dependence on me is not weakness. It is royalty learning to sit at the table of the king. The world sold you a counterfeit dignity, the kind that needs no one and bows to nothing. My child, that is not dignity, that is distance. I am a father. Closeness is my way. I lead you by my eyes. I keep you with my voice. When your heart is built like a fortress against disappointment, it also becomes a fortress against delight. Let me in. Let me rewrite the vows you made in survival into songs you sing in communion. I will rely on you. I will rest in you. I will not carry what is not mine. Bring me into the room as owner, not as consultant. Before you sign, ask me. Before you price, ask me. Before you spend, ask me. Before you accept the invitation that flatters your need to prove yourself, ask me. Let your first transfer in every increase be your heart transferred into my hands again. Whisper in the kitchen before you celebrate, Father, this came from you and returns to you. Bow in the hallway outside the boardroom. Father, I go in as your child, not as my own savior. If I give you speed, keep me as your steering. If I give you scale, keep me as your center. If I give you strategy, keep me as your song. Hear my warning and my comfort woven together. Success without me will hollow you. Success with me will heal you. The enemy longs to watch you arrive and then forget the map that brought you here. I long to walk you further than your courage imagined and keep you soft enough to hear a whisper when applause is loud. I will not let abundance steal you, if you will let remembrance shape you. Choose now in this quieter room what your heart will say in the louder rooms later. Decide the sentence you will keep when the harvest is heavy. He did this. He kept me. He is my source. Be still for a moment. Place your hand over your heart. Breathe. Release the phrase, "I must do this myself." Take mine instead. We will do this together. My beloved child, I am not trying to keep you small. I am teaching you how to remain mine when you become large. I am preparing a harvest, and I am preparing your heart so that when increase comes, it will be a sanctuary, not a snare. Remember me, and you will find that the wall you built to stay safe will become a gate where I walk with you into fields white and ready. My beloved child, let us stand together upon my word, because feelings can sway, opinions can multiply, but my counsel endures. Hear what I have spoken long ago and still speak now. Deuteronomy 8:18. Remember me, the Lord your God, for it is I who give you power to get wealth, so that my covenant is established through you. Do not rush past these words. Power from me, wealth not as a throne for your ego, but as a testimony that my promises are alive. Covenant, not transaction, not trend. Covenant, the holy agreement where I have bound my faithfulness to the lineage of faith, and I choose to reveal that faithfulness in the daily bread, in the needed resources, in the assignments I place in your hands. When I say wealth, do not shrink it into one number or inflate it into your identity. Wealth is not your name. Wealth is not your worth. Wealth, as I am speaking it, is a spectrum of provision and capacity I entrust to you. The idea that arrives like sunrise when your mind had no more strength. The favor that ushers you into rooms where your resume could not. The skill sharpened by quiet practice. The discipline to say yes and to say no at the right time. The connections that align like constellations. The opportunities that appear as if from nowhere. The peace that keeps you clear when anxiety fogs others. The strategy that turns little into much and waste into wisdom. This is power I give. Power to build, power to steward, power to distribute, power to sustain. Not to make you arrogant, but to make my covenant visible. My child, provision is not merely comfort, it is assignment. I do not equip you so that you can applaud yourself in the mirror. I equip you so that your life becomes a letter others can read, a living proof that I am kind, present, and true to my word. When your bills are paid with peace, when your work carries integrity, when generosity flows without performance, the watching world sees the ink of my covenant on your story. In the throne room, I have signed my name over your portion. I have not signed your permission slip to pride. I give power to get wealth to establish my covenant, not to inflate your ego. Do not wander into extremes that I have not written. I do not ask you to worship poverty as if lack were a sacrament. I do not romance scarcity as if fear could make you holy. There is no virtue in pretending you do not need resources when I have called you to build, to bless, to carry responsibility that requires supply. And also, I do not bless you to watch you bow to the blessing. I do not celebrate barns that become your temples, bank accounts that become your refuge, applause that becomes your guidance. Success without me is a more dangerous famine. Hear me, the enemy is not only skilled at attacking your lack, he is very skilled at using prosperity to draw you away from me. So I set a line of fire around your heart with this truth. Listen to this principle and bind it to your memory. I will bless you, but I will not be replaced as your source. Say it with me even now under your breath, with reverence, not as a slogan but as a vow between us. I will bless you, but I will not be replaced as your source. If your heart tries to crown your effort as king, remember me. If your heart tries to reject provision to look humble, remember me. Pride is not only loud in palaces, sometimes it hides in false modesty, refusing what I offer because you want to prove a point to yourself or to others. Humility is not refusing the gift. Humility is receiving it with clean hands and returning the glory. Come, let me open your eyes wider to the power I give. Power is not merely a sudden windfall. It is the capacity that grows within you in my presence. Power is the courage to start when you have been timid, and the wisdom to pause when the crowd shouts, move. It is the steady hand that signs only after prayer. It is the craft you refine when no one watches, because excellence to you is worship, not theater. It is the stamina to endure quiet seasons without selling your soul for speed. It is the resilience to learn from failure without building an altar to shame. It is the clarity to honor me first in the first fruits and to trust me with the part you cannot calculate. When I say I give power to get wealth, I am giving a way of being in which heaven's rhythm orders your steps on earth. Do you see why obedience and humility are not optional? They are the container that holds the oil. Without them, blessing leaks through haste, through flattery, through small compromises that seem reasonable. With them, blessing gathers and becomes a testimony. I will not pour into a cracked vessel without warning you about the crack, not because I am cruel, but because I love you too much to watch the oil run down the gutters of pride and performance. This is why, at times, I have withheld something you were ready to spend but not ready to steward. Delay is not punishment, it is protection. I am not punishing your hunger. I am protecting your heart from becoming dominated by what it was meant to direct. So how do you live this verse? Really live it. Remember me before and after. Whisper my name over ideas before you test them. Bow your heart before signatures. Dedicate increase in secret before you describe it in public. Set aside a portion for my purposes as a declaration that money will not manage you. You, with me, will manage money. Keep your gratitude louder than your metrics. Let your language reveal your theology. Not, I made this happen, but Father, you empowered my hands. Not, I don't need anyone, but I belong to someone who never fails. Do not allow gifts to outrun your gaze. Look up before you look around. And to those who have been afraid of this topic, who feel unworthy to receive, who flinch when the word wealth is spoken because shame has braided itself with money in your memories, hear me gently. I am untying that braid. Wealth in my mouth is not a verdict against your past. It is a promise for your future. You are not being invited into greed. You are being invited into stewardship. You are not stepping into a spotlight to impress. You are walking under a lamp I hold to guide the work of your hands. Your value is not measured by what you can afford, and yet I am not offended to furnish what your calling requires. As the scriptures remind you, remember the Lord your God. Remember me when the door opens. Remember me when the harvest is heavy. Remember me when the email says yes and when the account grows. And remember me when the growth is slow, trusting that I am still giving you power. Perhaps not the power to collect quickly, but the power to endure rightly, to learn deeply, to be refined beautifully. My silence never means my absence. My wisdom sometimes means I am strengthening your container before I fill it again. I speak over you now with a father's authority and a shepherd's care. I give you power to get wealth so that my covenant is established through your life. I remove the permission slip you once gave to pride. I revoke the agreement you once made with fear. Walk with me in honor. Hold what I give with open hands. Let every increase be an altar, not a throne. And as you do, you will discover that wealth under my lordship becomes a river that waters many fields, and yet never drowns the garden of your heart. My beloved child, listen to me with your whole heart. You have asked, Father, why not now? Why does the door stay shut when I have knocked with clean hands? You call it denial, but in truth, I am shielding you from a blessing your character has not yet learned to carry. This is not punishment, this is protection. I am keeping you under the shadow of my wings until what I place in your hands will not turn and master your heart. I am not saying no, I am saying not like this, not yet, not without the container that will keep the oil from spilling. I know the ache of waiting that tightens your chest. I know the dizziness that comes when you see others leap ahead while you kneel in the same place, whispering the same prayers. My silence never means my absence. I am working in the deep places where applause does not reach. I am strengthening the beams, curing the clay, mending the seams that pressure would otherwise burst. In the throne room, I have signed my name over your portion, but I am guarding the timing so that when it arrives, you are not drowned by what was meant to refresh you. Understand me. Inheritance is not only a reward, it is a test hidden beneath the light. Blessing carries pressure, and pressure reveals what is still unhealed. When resources multiply, so do options. When options multiply, so do temptations. When temptations multiply, so does the need for a heart that has learned to say yes to me and no to the noise. I am not afraid of giving you much. I am concerned that much will not take you from me. Therefore, I slow the outer rain until the inner soil no longer erodes at the first downpour. Let me name the places where containers usually crack, so you will not be surprised by my surgery. Many spend to soothe pain, calling it treating myself, when it is actually a bandage over a wound that needs my touch. Money becomes a mood regulator instead of a tool of stewardship, and the purchase high quickly fades, leaving you emptier and more entangled. Others sprint to prove themselves to people who once doubted them, building platforms and portfolios as altars to a verdict they hope to reverse. The crowd claps, but your soul sleeps further from me each round of applause because the metric of your worth has migrated. There is also the busy neglect. You once prayed long because you were hungry, and then I added weight to your hands, and your prayer life starved on the schedule you created. You said, "It is just a season," but seasons became a lifestyle. Your work became your worship, but not in the way of excellence unto me, rather in the way of idolatry, where attention and adrenaline replaced the secret place. And there is the quiet compromise, tolerating relationships that fog your clarity because they offer access, deals that seem small in their bending but large in their payoff, partnerships that make you less yourself in me, yet more visible to men. These are the subtle leaks through which blessing drains. I am not exposing you to humiliate you. I am fathering you to keep you. I withhold what would ruin you. Hear this like a seal over your heart. Delay is not punishment, it is protection. When you feel me restrain you from a purchase, a partnership, a pace, do not call it cruelty, call it covering. I am teaching you to live under the shadow of my wings, where I prune out the restless vow. I must never need anyone again, and replace it with the royal sentence, I belong to someone who never fails. Be still, return to the secret place. Let me father your desire, not your fear. When desire is fathered by fear, it demands speed, craves spectacle, and will trade boundaries for breakthroughs. When desire is fathered by me, it rests, discerns, and moves. When obedience says move even if the crowd says wait, and waits when obedience says wait, even if the clock says hurry. This is the container I am building within you, the muscle memory of yes to me at any cost. You think hiding is rejection, but my child, hiddenness is the hospital of your becoming. I am not excluding you. I am incubating you. There are seasons when I deliberately keep you out of rooms where your gift would be applauded, but your soul would be dismantled by subtle flattery. I shield you from premature exposure because the enemy is cunning. He will borrow their compliments to teach you to live on words instead of on my word. I am purifying the circle around you. There are people who are only permitted to write one chapter in your story, and I am turning the page. Do not rush to stitch back together ties that I am untying. Love them, bless them, release them. I will not allow relationships that dilute your obedience to be the price of your promotion. You say, "But Father, I feel ready." And I answer, ready in your skill, yes. Ready in your heart, almost. Skill can gather, character keeps. Obedience makes a cup where generosity can sit without spilling. If I gave you the contract last month, would you have tithed in secret or testified in public first for validation? If I opened the door last week, would you have paced your schedule around my presence or around opportunity's demands? If I multiplied your reach yesterday, would you have curated your words more to avoid offense or to guard holiness? I am examining whether you will still trust me when you no longer feel anything at all, whether you will still choose my whisper over the roar of open doors. Hear my strategy. I am training you through small obediences to carry larger ones. Obedience in time, not just in content. Waking when I nudge, pausing when I check your spirit, answering emails with integrity, not merely efficiency, closing the laptop when I whisper, "Come away." Obedience in money, honoring first what is mine, choosing stewardship over spectacle, budgeting with me instead of retroactively inviting me to bless impulsive decisions. Obedience in boundaries, saying no to invitations that flatter but do not align, ending conversations that coax you into compromise with a smile that hides knives. Obedience in speech, letting your language reveal your theology. Father, you empowered my hands, even when you could impress by saying, "I made it happen." Do not despise the kiln. Pottery that will hold heat must be fired longer. Vessels that will carry oil to many must be cured in stillness. I am turning you slowly on the wheel. If you leap off because the world is spinning faster, you will remain beautiful but brittle. I would rather you be strong and simple than prominent and fragile. Success without me is a more dangerous famine. Trust me while I sand away the rough edges where pride could catch. Agree with me as I remove the tiny hooks in your motives, where comparison would hang its coat. The enemy will not always shout. He will come with reasonable suggestions, policies that sound like prudence, mentors whose advice is laced with compromise. He is skilled at soft snares. He borrows their lips to plant questions. Must you pray this much? Isn't this boundary extreme? Wouldn't one small exception open such a big door? My child, a door that requires you to leave me outside is not a door I opened. A bridge that makes you lie about your allegiance is not a bridge to your future. I am the good shepherd. My ways keep you whole while you increase. Be still. Return to the secret place. Let me father your desire, not your fear. Let generosity be a private joy, not a public strategy. Let planning be worship, not worry wearing a tie. Let the phone ring unanswered if my presence has answered you already. Let me set your pace. Rest is not laziness when I command it. It is loyalty. Feast is not excess when I provide it. It is gratitude. You will not miss what I have appointed while obeying me. If you leave your place, the blessing will come and not find you there. But if you remain at your post, even if the hour seems late, you will see what I have promised arrive with guards of peace. I withhold what would ruin you. I give what will root you. I delay so that your yes becomes unshakable, so that when favor comes, it does not carry you into rooms I am not in, so that when numbers rise, they do not rewrite your name. You are not an orphan scrambling for scraps. You are my beloved child, trained to carry bread for many without starving your own soul. Do not mistake my hand on your shoulder for a barrier. It is a steering hand keeping you from cliffs you cannot see in the fog of desire. Lift your eyes. Breathe. Say with me even now, Father, shape my container. I choose obedience over speed. I choose your shadow over every spotlight. I choose your whisper over every open door. I am not teasing you with hope. I am tempering you with holiness. When the seal breaks and the season turns, what I place in your hands will stay, will serve, will sing of my faithfulness. And you will be kept, heart whole, motives clean, testimony bright, because you learned before the flood that obedience is the container and delay was the mercy that built it. My beloved child, come closer and learn from a king. I do not bring up his name to embarrass him in your memory, but to place a mirror before your heart so you can see clearly in the brighter light that is coming. Solomon did not fall in the day of hunger. He fell in the day of abundance. He did not crumble when the cupboard was bare. He drifted when the cupboards overflowed, when the palaces gleamed, when applause swelled like a tide that seemed holy because it sounded like success. Hear me, abundance is not automatically evidence of closeness to me. Sometimes it is the very test that exposes drift. I gave Solomon wisdom. I gave him a listening heart. I gave him peace on every side. I did not withhold from him understanding to govern, insight to judge, brilliance to build. Wealth and honor followed the wisdom I placed in him, and the nations took note. But here is the spiritual logic you must hold like a compass when I increase you. Abundance multiplies options. Options test loyalties. Loyalties reveal what you truly worship. When the tables are full, invitations increase. When you can say yes to many paths, the real measure of your heart appears in what you choose to keep, what you refuse to touch, and whom you remember in the feast. Solomon began with a single gaze, my temple, my presence, my people. Over time, as gold was measured in numbers too high to count, and alliances offered safety that seemed strategic, his gaze divided. Altars multiplied that I did not authorize. What once would have pricked his conscience began to feel normal, reasonable, even necessary. This is how the enemy works when prosperity enters the room. He does not arrive with a horn and pitchfork. He arrives in the language of upgrades, efficiencies, networks, improved terms. He borrows wise-sounding words to dull your discernment. He persuades you to place a small exception on the altar for the sake of a larger opportunity, and he does it so kindly you forget to ask me first. My child, I am not against opportunities. I am the one who authors true favor. But some of your greatest temptations will arrive disguised as open doors, mentorship, strategic partnerships, brand expansions, and influence. Not every introduction is alignment. Not every network is covenant. Not every upgrade is an elevation in my eyes. Solomon learned this the costly way. The applause of nations could not keep his heart from drifting once his private devotions were diluted. He still wore the crown, but the center shifted. He still had wisdom's vocabulary, but the whisper of worship grew faint beneath the machinery of success. Do you see the danger I am rescuing you from? In times of hunger, you cling to me out of necessity. You wake before dawn because you know you cannot manage the day alone. In times of abundance, dependence must be chosen on purpose, or else it will quietly erode. When your schedule fills with important things, the secret place can feel negotiable. When people applaud, correction feels optional. When options multiply, you can start to believe that agreement with me is one option among many rather than the only way that keeps you whole. I am putting this warning in your hands like a lamp, not to scare you away from the road of increase, but to keep your feet from slipping when that road widens. Hear me speak with a father's clarity. The enemy is very skilled at using prosperity to draw you away from me. He will aim not at your public confession first, but at your private affection. He will normalize what used to sting, casual compromises for convenience, relationships that blur conviction for the sake of reach, entertainment that slowly reteaches your desires, spending that anesthetizes rather than stewards, speech that shifts subtly from "you did this, Father" to "I made it happen." He prefers a slow leak to a dramatic explosion because slow leaks rarely call for repair until the foundation is soft and the house starts to tilt. Let me ask you questions as guardrails for your soul. If the invitations double this year, will you have your prayer to make room, or will you prune the invitations to protect our communion? If the promotion comes with an environment that asks you to laugh at what grieves my spirit, will you call it culture and go silent? Or will you keep your tongue holy and your boundaries firm? If a partnership offers visibility but requires you to put your convictions on mute, will you tell yourself it is a season? Or will you refuse to sell your birthright for a bowl that shines? If applause rises, will you let it become your weather? Or will you anchor your climate in my presence where praise cannot intoxicate you? Do not say in your heart, "I could never drift like that." Solomon did not plan to drift either. Drift is rarely planned. It happens when devotion becomes divided, when counsel is sought more from crowds than from my mouth, when the first fruits are offered to schedules instead of to my name. This message is not to condemn you. It is to build fences where cliffs hide in the fog of success. Remember what I have already taught you. Obedience is the container. Without it, even brilliance leaks. Without it, even wisdom can be wielded with motives that bend away from me. Now, lift your eyes and hear hope. I am not sharing Solomon's story to scare you away from blessing. I am sharing it because I intend to bless you, and I am jealous to keep you. In the throne room, I have signed my name over your portion. I am teaching your hands to hold what I will place in them. I am strengthening your wrists so they do not tremble when responsibility grows heavy. I am purifying your appetites so you can sit at full tables and still hunger for my presence more than for the plates. I am instructing your eyes to look first to me, even when opportunities sparkle. I want abundance to become your testimony, not your trap. So learn Solomon's wisdom without repeating Solomon's wound. Keep your altars singular, me first, me still, me always. Maintain holy routines when the calendar roars. Guard your agreements in the secret place before you sign anything in public. Surround yourself with voices that protect your tenderness, not advisors who flatter your speed. Practice saying no when a yes would be profitable but costly to your soul. Let generosity remain hidden and joyful, not a performance that buys influence. Keep your language aligned with truth. Father, you empower my hands. You are my source, even when others credit you for what only I could have authored. I am with you in this. My silence never means my absence. In quiet seasons, I fortify your borders. In noisy seasons, I amplify my whisper if you will pause to listen. I am not threatening to take away what I give. I am promising to sit with you as Lord over what I give so it never sits on the throne of your heart. If I have warned you, it is because increase is approaching. If I am correcting you, it is because I plan to trust you with more. Hold this sentence as your anchor when applause grows or when new rooms open. Abundance is not automatically evidence of closeness to me. Let it become the very proof of it, because you chose me first when you finally had enough. My beloved child, I have seen your tears about money. I have watched you stare at the numbers late at night until the lines blur and your breath turns shallow. I have seen the stack of unpaid bills you move from one side of the table to the other because you cannot make them disappear. I have watched you choose which payment to delay, which call to avoid, which necessity to cut so the little ones do not feel the pinch. I have heard the sigh you bury when the card declines at the register, the apology you whisper to the cashier as if your worth were something that also needed approval. I have stood with you in the shower where the water hides your crying. I have walked with you into work when your smile is a door you hold closed against panic, and I have sat beside you in the car when you turn the radio up to drown the noise in your head. My child, none of this is invisible to me. I am not far. I am the one who leans close enough to count the tears and to steady the shoulders that carry more than they admit. You feel the pressure of providing, the sacred weight of being someone's shelter. You run numbers and run errands, and sometimes you feel as if you are running out of yourself. Debt coils like a quiet serpent, interest compounding like a tide that visits every month with the same relentless knock. Job uncertainty moves like fog. You cannot plan if you cannot see, and each rumor of layoffs, each restructure, each "we're just reevaluating" breaks your concentration into smaller pieces. Some of you are recovering from medical bills that arrived like a storm you did not forecast. Some of you have worked 2 jobs and still felt the ground shift beneath you. Some of you have asked for help and then hid your face from the mirror because embarrassment stood at the door whispering, "You should have done better by now." Hear me, I am not shaming you. I am not tallying your worth on a spreadsheet. I am your father. You have said in your heart, "I am behind," and the word has become a verdict that hovers over everything, behind your peers, behind your plans, behind the life you thought you would be living by now. But I have not called you forgotten. I have called you mine. Your timeline is not the measuring rod of my faithfulness. I do not rank you by years or salaries or the square footage you can afford. I rank you by my love, which cannot be measured, and by my choice, which I sealed before you took your first breath. In the throne room, I have signed my name over your portion. My silence never means my absence. When I am quiet, it is not because I walked away. It is because I am shaping the answer to fit your true need, not your fear's demand. Let me touch the wound beneath the numbers. For some of you, scarcity carved its initials into your childhood. The light bill unpaid, the fridge light bright over empty shelves, the parent who promised and did not show, the landlord's notice, the box of hand-me-downs you pretended to love so no one would see your ache. For others, betrayal braided itself with money. Someone borrowed and never returned. A partner hid debts or made reckless choices that bled your future. A friend turned opportunity into leverage over your heart. Instability trained you to believe that the only safe person is the one who controls everything. So control became your comfort, your little altar. You made a quiet vow, "I will never be needy again." And the vow became a leash, pulling you into urgency, pushing you into work without rest, driving you to prove to yourself and to the ghost of yesterday that you are safe because you are in charge. My child, I see that vow. I do not condemn you for it. I understand why you made it, but hear me gently and with power. Control is a counterfeit shelter. It gives the feeling of safety while it steals your sleep. It keeps you busy while it keeps you from me. I am not asking you to be careless. I am asking you to let me be your true security. I am untying that vow. Under the shadow of my wings, you do not have to live as an orphan auditioning for survival. You are not a beggar at the back door of providence. You are a true heir in your Father's house. I have set a table for you, not a stage for a performance, but a table for communion, instruction, and daily bread that does not humiliate you to receive it. I know the embarrassment you feel when you need help. You rehearse explanations in your head to make your request feel acceptable. You shrink your words as if asking were a crime. You avoid community or smile too brightly to keep anyone from seeing the not enough in your eyes. My beloved child, asking for help is not failure. Humility is not humiliation. In my kingdom, interdependence is not weakness. It is wisdom. There are seasons when I deliberately send provision through people so that pride loses its grip on your story. Do not call it shame when it is actually salvation. I am purifying the circle around you, giving you brothers and sisters who will not loan you dignity in exchange for gratitude, but will share their portion because it is how family lives. Let me speak to your fear of tomorrow. You worry about the economy's tremors, the company's shifts, the market's moods. You ask yourself how many months you can survive if the numbers change again. Hear my voice cut through the forecasts. Jobs are channels, not your source. Markets are conditions, not your covenant. I am your source. I do not promise to keep every channel the same. I promise to keep you. I am already walking in your tomorrows, arranging what you cannot see, closing what would harm you, reserving what will mature you, planting seeds of skill and strategy whose harvest will meet you right on time. My child, I have heard every prayer whispered in exhaustion on your pillow. I have counted every tear that slid into your hair because you did not want to make a sound. I have answered more times than you noticed, through a small discount, a stranger's kindness, a friend's unexpected transfer, the idea that came in the shower, the favor you called coincidence. I am not absent. I am attentive. You are not your bank account. You are not your lack. You are not the mistake you made with that purchase you regret, the contract you signed too quickly, the venture that failed, the loan you mishandled. I do not rename my children by their missteps. I redeem. Bring me your regret and let me wring out the shame while preserving the wisdom. I do not simply erase memories. I rewrite their meaning. The season that taught you to fear can become the lesson that teaches you to steward with compassion. The scarcity that made you hoard can become the testimony that makes you generous without pride. The betrayal that made you vow never to need anyone can become the altar where you confess, I need you most. And from that confession, freedom begins. The enemy loves to visit you in the quiet with numbers like knives. He borrows your memories and your past due notices to build a case that you are disqualified from joy until everything is paid and perfect. He is a liar. Joy is not rented from your budget. It is given by my spirit and secured by my presence. Peace is not a line item. It is a person, and I am with you. Do not wait to breathe until everything balances. Breathe now in me. Do not wait to sing until the statement shows zero. Sing now, not in denial, but in defiance of the verdict that says you are only as worthy as your margin. Come, do a simple thing with me. Lay the bills out, not as a spectacle, but as a surrender. Whisper my name over them, not magic words, but a genuine memory. Remember me, the one who walks with you into each due date. Invite me into the numbers and listen for the small nudges that mark my path. Where to cut, where to ask, where to wait, where to move. I will not drown you in 10-year plans today. I will give you the next faithful step, and then the next. This is how I father your desire instead of your fear. Step by step, trust replacing panic, worship replacing worry, stewardship replacing self-punishment. And hear me say it again as a seal against that inner critic. Your value is not measured by what you can afford. You are valuable because you are mine. You carry my image, my name, my affection. I am not embarrassed by your need. I am moved by it. I will teach you to steward, yes. I will correct where waste and impulse have drained you, yes. But correction is not rejection. Discipline is not disdain. I am not here to humiliate you. I am here to heal you and to prepare you. to give you power to get wealth as covenant provision without letting pride become your master. Rest now under my covering. The panic is not your compass. Shame is not your teacher. Let me be your weather inside while the forecast outside still shifts. I am placing peace on your chest like a warm blanket. I am loosening the knot in your stomach with my hand. You are not alone at this table. I am with you and I am for you. When you wake tomorrow, wake to me first. We will walk this together. You will see provision that fits you, guidance that steadies you, and a heart growing free from the lie that you are only as worthy as what you can buy. My child, I have seen your tears about money, and I am answering them not only with supply, but with healing. Stay near me, and you will learn to carry resource without carrying shame, to live provided for without living proud, to breathe easy even before the balance changes, because your name is not behind. Your name is mine. My beloved child, now that I have settled your breathing and reminded you who you are, come closer for a deeper work. This is the purity test. I am not here to accuse you. I am here to protect you. These questions are not to accuse you, but to bring you back to safety. Increase is on my agenda, but I never increase you only in coins. I increase you in capacity to stay near me while you receive. I am not just increasing your money, I am increasing your capacity to stay near me while you receive. What good is a larger table if you abandon the one who sits at the head? What good is a higher gate if pride stands there as the doorkeeper? So let me ask you plainly, as a father who trusts you enough to speak to you like this. If I bless you when it is still tight, will you still honor me first? Will you return to me the first and best portion before you calculate your safety? Will you be generous when logic says, wait one more month, when convenience says, next time, when fear says, you cannot spare it? And if I cause it to flow, if the reservoirs fill and the reports read more than enough, will you still worship me with the same urgency you once felt in the midnight hour? Will you stay low when the numbers rise? Will you keep your hands open when opportunity multiplies? And hear this one carefully. Will you obey me even when obedience costs you profit? Will you walk away from a contract that flatters you but dulls your conscience? Will you tell the truth on the form that would pay you more if you blurred the line? Will you treat people right when cutting corners would add to your margin? Will you choose rest when the grind promises another digit, but robs your soul? I am searching, not to find a reason to deny you, but to find proof points that you are safe with what I want to place. I am examining whether you will still trust me when you no longer feel anything at all, when the pressure of hunger is replaced by the pressure of options. My child, options are not neutral, they are altars. And there are two false altars I am exposing so they lose their power over you. Approval and security. Approval is the altar that says, I am well when they say I am well. It measures abundance by applause, confidence by comments, worth by the warmth of people's faces. It curates an image and begs it to become reality. Approval will ask you to spend to look successful, to announce every generosity so you can feed on claps, to choose partnerships that make you seem important even when they quietly move you farther from me. Approval will give you the illusion of assent, while it steals your center, and the enemy is skilled at borrowing the lips of admirers to preach you subtle sermons that say, you are enough because we say so. Hear me. You are mine because I said so before anyone knew your name, and their praise is a breeze that must not be allowed to rewrite your weather. Do not offer your identity on the altar of their opinion. Keep me as your climate. If it is quiet, worship. If they forget you, remain faithful. If they celebrate, bow low. The weight of their words must never outweigh the whisper of my spirit. Security is the altar that says, I am fine when the numbers are high. It offers you a nightly lullaby of digits and balances and may even call itself wisdom. But when numbers become your peace, they become your prison. Security will ask you to hoard against tomorrow until tomorrow owns you. It will ask you to ignore my nudge to bless someone because the spreadsheet has not given permission yet. It will convince you that withholding is how you will never be needy again. And in doing so, it will make your soul malnourished even while your accounts seem healthy. My child, I am not calling you to recklessness. I am calling you to trust. Stewardship is holy. Clutching is not. Savings are tools. They are not your savior. Let your prudence be worship, not worry dressed in a suit. Let your plan be a servant, not a master. Remember, I am the one who taught your hands to work and your mind to think. I am your source, not your chart. Surrender is how I keep you safe. Resources are safest when held with open hands. Open hands can receive and release. They do not bruise the blessing they hold. Closed fists keep you from losing, but they also keep you from receiving. As long as you clutch, you must control. As long as you control, you cannot rest. As long as you cannot rest, you cannot hear. I want you to hold what I give like a river holds water, always moving, always fresh, fed by springs beneath and rains above, not dammed by fear into a stagnant pond. When I nudge you to give, it is not because I need what you offer. It is because I am keeping your heart soft, your channels clear, your joy alive. When I tell you to pause a venture that seems profitable, it is not to sabotage you. It is to keep you from stitching your identity to an outcome that cannot love you back. When I lead you to bless in secret, I am untying you from approval's hooks. When I ask you to rest, I am declaring to your fear that provision comes from me even when your hands are still. Let us be practical. Pre-decide now what worship looks like when it flows. Set aside my portion before you see what is left. Decide now which lines you will not cross, even if a larger paycheck bows before you. Decide now which rooms you will decline, if entering them requires you to mute your conscience. Decide now that you do not spend to prove a point. You spend to fulfill a purpose. Decide now that you will ask me first when a too good opportunity knocks. Decide now to let generosity remain a rhythm, not a performance. A delight, not a debt. If you choose now, the test will not surprise you. It will simply reveal your pre-made yes and your pre-made no. I also speak a boundary promise over you, and I speak it with the authority of a father and a king. No demon and no human can cross the line I have drawn around what I have ordained, unless you hand your heart to pride. I am purifying your borders. I am cutting off manipulations that would drain you. I am silencing voices that masquerade as mentors but pull you toward compromise. None of these can cross the boundary I have drawn. But pride builds a small gate inside your own fence. Pride negotiates where I have decreed. Pride trades the secret place for the stage. Pride says, I did this, and in that sentence it hands over the keys to a thief who smiles. Guard your humility the way you guard your passwords. Keep your crown low. Keep your knees familiar with the floor. Keep your ear tuned to my whisper more than to metrics. Do you feel my kindness in this conviction? I am not searching for a reason to disqualify you. I am searching your heart to secure you. I know how to bless you in ways that do not bruise you. I know how to expand your territory without shrinking your soul. I know how to increase what flows through your hands while anchoring your heart deeper in mine. That is why I ask you to practice now what you will need later, to give when it feels tight so that when it feels loose, you do not forget me, to worship when it is silent so that when it is loud, you are not seduced, to obey when the bill is due so that when wealth arrives, obedience remains your instinct, to honor me in obscurity so that honor in public does not intoxicate you. I am with you in the test, and I am fair. I am not grading you against the speed of others or the size of their harvest. I am measuring whether your love for me outranks your love for outcomes. If I tell you to sow into a person or a mission that cannot repay you with status, will you smile and obey? If I ask you to build quietly for a time, will you trust that hiddenness is still protection and not punishment? If I call you to reconcile and make right what you could have justified keeping, will you choose integrity over image? These are not traps. These are training. They are how I widen your capacity, so your blessing does not crush you. My beloved child, lift your hands, if only in your heart, and release your grip. Invite me to search you and to realign you. Renounce the altar of approval. It cannot feed you when the night is long. Renounce the altar of security. It cannot protect you when storms move in. Return to me as your climate, your shelter, your first love. Say yes to generosity as your freedom practice. Say yes to worship as your oxygen. Say yes to obedience when it costs you something you once trusted more than me. As you do, watch what I will do. I will teach you to carry more without carrying it alone. I will entrust you with resource calibrated to your obedience, ideas sized to your humility, opportunities safeguarded by your boundaries. And when people ask you for your secret, you will not point to your hustle or your caution. You will point to a king and a father, and your abundance will testify. He gave me power to get it, and he kept my heart while I held it. Do not fear this examination. My silence never means my absence, and my questions never mean your rejection. If I am asking, it is because I am inviting. If I am correcting, it is because I am preparing. Let us walk this purity test together, hand in hand. I am not just increasing your money, hear me again. I am increasing your capacity to stay near me while you receive. Stay near, stay low, stay generous, stay true. In the throne room, I have signed my name over your portion. On the earth, let me sign my name over your posture. Then watch provision become not a trap, but a testimony. My beloved child, lean close now. I will make this plain, simple, and repeatable, so you can walk it without confusion. Provision without pride is not an accident. It is a way. It is built in the secret place when you remember me before you touch the results. When you wake and the world rushes at you with numbers, with notifications, with needs, I am already at your bedside whispering, look at me first. If the first eyes you meet are mine, the first voice you hear is mine, then what follows will take its rightful size. When you begin with me, increase will not seduce you, and lack will not terrify you. Here is the rhythm I give you. Carry it like a song in your bones. Seek me first daily. Ask for wisdom. Work diligently. Steward faithfully. Give generously. Rest obediently. Walk this circle again and again, not as a chore, but as a covenant dance. Do not complicate it with the pressure of perfection. Practice it with love and with persistence, and watch how I quiet your storms and order your steps. Seek me first daily. Before you open the banking app, before you check the sales report, before you reply to the email that presses for a decision, turn your face to me. Whisper my name. Open my word and let it recalibrate your weather within. Say aloud in your room, in your car, in the bathroom where you breathe alone. Father, I remember you. All things come from you, pass through your hands, and return to your glory. Make it audible because your ears need to hear your heart. Declare what is true. Even 5 minutes of true attention clears fog that hours of analysis cannot. When you begin with me, you begin from abundance, not because numbers are high, but because your source is near. Do not compete, do not compare, do not rush, begin. Ask for wisdom. I delight to give it, not in riddles, but in clean, clear steps. Wisdom is not only what to do, it is when to do it, how far to go, and when to be still. Ask me before decisions, not after. Bring me the contract before you sign, the opportunity before you say yes, the purchase before you click buy. Pray short prayers often. Lord, search this. Lord, weigh this. Lord, check my heart. Invite correction without fear. If this path flatters me but harms me, close it, even if I do not understand. Submit your plans like an offering. Hold them up to me and wait for my peace or my pause. And when I place a check in your spirit, honor it. Peace is your green light. Unease is not your enemy. It is a fatherly hand on your shoulder. Do not buy peace with disobedience. Do not force open what I am gently closing. Work diligently. I made your hands to build, your mind to think, your heart to persevere. Work is not a curse when you work with me. It is worship. Show up when no one claps. Finish what you start. Learn what you do not yet know. Upgrade your skill rather than chasing shortcuts. Answer messages with integrity. Keep your word even when a better offer arrives after you commit. Excellence without ego. Consistency without theatrics. Do not despise small assignments. Hidden faithfulness is the anvil on which I forge public trust. When you work as unto me, you break agreement with laziness and with hustle pride at the same time. You become steady, and steadiness is a door pride cannot easily enter. Steward faithfully. Stewardship is not a mood. It is a practice you can learn. Budget as a spiritual discipline, not a sentence of deprivation. A budget tells your money where to go, so your money cannot tell your heart who it is. Sit with me and write what is true. Income, responsibilities, seed to sow, debts to retire, savings for future obedience. Give every dollar an assignment with me as your supervisor. Ask, is this need or is this image? Let the line be bright. Practice the 24-hour pause for unplanned spending. Let impulse cool in my presence. Track not to obsess, but to testify, so you can look back and say, here is where we honored him first. Here is where we chose integrity. Here is where wisdom saved us from loss. Integrity is worship. Consistency is obedience. Patience is faith. Patience says, I trust your timing enough to wait for what fits me. Give generously. Generosity is how you keep your channels clear. With open hands, nothing spoils. Everything is fresh. Pre-decide your first and best portion, so you do not negotiate with fear at the last minute. Give in secret often, so pride cannot feed on applause. Give loudly sometimes, so your children learn your values. Give where there is no stage for you, where only my eyes see. Give to the poor, to the work of my kingdom, to the one I highlight in your day, a co-worker, a neighbor, a student whose shoes tell a story. Your gift becomes a sermon you preach to your own soul. God is my source, I am safe to release. And remember, generosity is not just money. It is time, attention, advocacy, knowledge. When I nudge, obey swiftly. The window you honor becomes the window I pour through. Rest obediently. Rest is not a suggestion in my economy. It is a command given as a gift. Sleep becomes warfare against the lie that everything depends on you. Set apart a day, a window, a rhythm where you close the laptop. Silence the alerts and come away with me. Hold a simple Sabbath. Walk, breathe, laugh, worship, be human. I provide while you sleep. I stabilize what you surrendered. Refuse the extra shift that flatters your fear but starves your soul, unless I send you as an exception with peace attached. If you violate rest to prove you are safe, you trade your birthright for a bowl of hurry. Do not rush. I am not in your panic. I am in your pace. Build remembering into your routine. Remember me before you touch results. Make small altars throughout your day. When income lands, say aloud, Father, from your hand. When a sale closes, bow your head for a moment and whisper, you did this with me. When you repay a debt, celebrate privately. You are restoring. When you decline a compromise, lift your hands. Even in a bathroom stall, you kept me clean. Keep a record of providence, a list of seen and supplied. Rehearse it to your household. Pin a note above your desk. Remember the one who gives power to get wealth. This is how you anchor your memory to truth so that pride cannot rewrite your history. Invite accountability into your stewardship. Not every voice, but a wise, clean one who loves me and loves you, who gains nothing from flattery. Share your goals, your temptations, your budget boundaries, and give them permission to ask hard questions. Isolation breeds self-deception. Humility invites safety. There are people who are only permitted to write one chapter in your story. Do not give them authorship over your finances, your ethics, or your future. And hear me here. Some relationships are leaks. They pressure you into image spending, comparison, or compromise. They are experts in just this once, in everyone does, in no one will notice. When I highlight a leak, close it. Do not rush to stitch back together ties I am untying. I am purifying the circle around you, so your blessing is not drained by those who mock your boundaries. Do not compete. Do not compare. Their pace is not yours. Their path is not your map. When invitations arrive, partnerships that dazzle, events that promise exposure, deals that glow, bring them into the secret place. Ask with specificity, is this for me now with these terms? Success out of season is still disobedience. Exposure without assignment is still danger. I do not only ask what you will do, I ask who you will be as you do it. If entering a room would require you to mute your conscience, to hide your allegiance, to blur your numbers, it is not your room. If a purchase would make you look large while making you feel small in prayer, it is not your purchase. If a mentor requires your applause more than your growth, bow out quietly. The room you say no to for my sake becomes the capacity I say yes to in due time. Practice liturgies of dependence. When anxiety rises, stop and place your hand on your chest. Breathe my name in and out. When you feel urgency press your back, step away and ask, am I moving with peace or fear? When you finish a task, close your eyes and return the credit to me before anyone else can claim it. In meetings, silently ask me 5 times, guide my words. Before you send, pause. Before you post, question motive. Before you sign, review with me. These small obediences stack into a fortress. Little foxes spoil vines, little altars preserve harvest. In your home, teach your household the secret place way. Gather them, 2 or 10 or just you, once a week over the numbers and the testimonies. Pray simple prayers together, laugh together, repent quickly if you spoke harshly under pressure. Celebrate tiny victories. Let children put the first coin in the generosity jar. Let them see you choose integrity, even when it costs. This inheritance is not just money. It is a way of walking that will outlive you. And I speak protection over your pace. The enemy loves to spin your heart until you mistake vertigo for momentum. I slow you not to hinder you, but to heal you. My child, the doors I open no one can shut, and what I keep for you will not need your compromise to obtain it. Do not buy peace with disobedience. Peace is a person, and I am with you. Keep me first, and when results arrive, handle them last. After worship, after wisdom, after clean work, after faithful stewardship, after generosity, after rest. Do you feel how this frees you? This is not a maze. It is a map. It is not a list to perform for my approval. It is a pathway to remain inside my embrace while you build, earn, save, sow, and sleep. You will not carry the strain of being your own source. You will not be lured by the glitter of applause into forgetting who made you shine. The secret place is not a room. It is a posture. It is how you walk into the boardroom and remain on your knees in your heart. It is how you sign a contract with one hand and hold on to mine with the other. It is how you cash the check without letting the check cash out your humility. Return to this rhythm every day. Seek me first daily. Ask for wisdom. Work diligently. Steward faithfully. Give generously. Rest obediently. Say it until it becomes the way your heart breathes. And when your story is told, and it will be told, let it sound like this. He remembered the Lord his God. He received power to get wealth as covenant provision. He did not bow to pride. His abundance became a testimony. I am waiting for you in the secret place each morning, each decision, each deposit, each night. Come, walk this way, and watch provision become not a trap, but a trust, held safely under the shadow of my wings, carrying my name, returning to my glory. My beloved child, because you have leaned in and listened, hear me now as I shift your heart from instruction to promise. In the throne room I have signed my name over your portion. What I have ordained cannot be stolen. I am authorizing ideas, favor, and open doors. I am breathing on the work of your hands and the thoughts of your mind. I am aligning times and places, people and paths, so the provision I give you will not only arrive, it will remain. You have walked the way of the secret place. Now watch me bring you into the field I have watered in silence. This is not a tease. This is a decree. Remember what I spoke in Deuteronomy 8:18, that I am the one who gives power to get wealth to establish my covenant. Hear me clearly. This power is not mere hustle or charm. It is holy enablement that makes what I place in you effective. I am giving you wisdom to negotiate, so you do not undersell what I have called valuable. I am giving you discernment to avoid traps that sparkle but suffocate. I am giving you discipline to finish what you begin, to carry assignments across the line without bleeding integrity. I am giving you courage to start where fear once paralyzed you, and grace to endure when the first enthusiasm wanes. This is the kind of power that turns raw ideas into steady streams, that turns opportunities into testimonies, that turns waiting into a womb instead of a grave. I am authorizing ideas. Expect inspiration like a gentle rain, not always a thunderclap. Solutions will surface in ordinary moments, while washing dishes, while walking, while waking in the night. Keep a pen near. I will visit your notes with blueprints. I will show you a simpler process that doubles your capacity. I will highlight a niche others ignore, a small door that fits you perfectly. I will teach your hands new skills quickly, how to word an email with precision, how to frame an offer with clarity, how to structure your day for deep work, how to price with integrity and confidence. I will awaken creativity where you once felt dull. The fog is lifting. Do not despise the quiet idea that looks too small to matter. Inside some small ideas are long roads of faithful income and long lines of people I intend to bless through you. I am authorizing favor. I am raising voices to mention your name in rooms where decisions are made. I am softening the stance of a gatekeeper who once overlooked you. I am arranging divine appointments that do not require you to trade your soul for a handshake. But hear the safeguard. True favor never demands that you mute your conscience. True favor carries peace and invites excellence. It does not flatter you into compromise. When favor is from me, you will know it because humility feels natural, prayer feels necessary, and integrity feels non-negotiable. Expect emails you did not send, callbacks you did not chase, introductions you could not have orchestrated. Expect also the strength to say no thank you to invitations that look like favor but smell like flattery. I will not just open doors, I will train your nose to discern the air in the hallway. I am opening doors, doors with your name etched by my own hand. Doors that have felt heavy for years will swing because I will lay my weight upon them. You will not pry with panic, you will push with peace. I will line up timing so that when you step, the path meets your foot. I am handing you keys, obedience, patience, and listening that fit the locks you have been facing. And when I open a door, no adversary will be able to shut it against my decree. You will not need to sprint through the threshold as if it will close on your heel. You will walk steady and sure, because I am anchoring the hinges. I am not giving you a window of favor only. I am giving you a way of walking where favor becomes normal to a humble heart. I see the fatigue that has gnawed at your edges. You have labored through nights where results seemed far and tomorrow felt thin. Hear me. Many abandon their post in the last minutes before dawn. Do not step away now. Do not talk yourself out of what you have been preparing for. Hold the line. Your consistency has a sound in heaven. Your worship has weight. Your clean decisions have built an unseen platform strong enough to hold more. If it feels quiet, remember, my silence never means my absence. I am nearer than breath, and you are closer than you think. Soon, evidence will catch up to your obedience. I am stirring practical power within you. You will sense a new steadiness in decisions, no longer paralyzed by the fear of choosing wrong, no longer seduced by shortcuts. I am sharpening your ability to read a contract and spot the line that would have tripped you. I am giving you language to communicate your value with humility and clarity. I am building stamina so you can finish the project and not abandon it when the novelty fades. I am reordering your schedule so the important is no longer strangled by the urgent. I am teaching you to delegate with trust, to ask for help without shame, to say later without guilt. I am strengthening your follow-through muscle. Your yes will mean yes again. This is how the power I give operates, not just in windfalls, but in 1,000 wise steps that carry you further than a single leap of impulse ever could. Your breakthrough will come with safeguards for your heart. I am keeping you from the kind of acceleration that would outgrow your roots. Where others rise like fireworks and fall as quickly, I am building you like an oak, rings upon rings, depth upon depth, shade for many. There will be moments of sudden opening, but there will also be the blessed normal of steady supply. I will give you increase that does not cost you your soul. I will show you how to hold success without letting success hold you. I will maintain the boundaries we set in the secret place, Sabbath as a guardrail, generosity as a cleanser, accountability as a safety net, humility as your daily clothing. Promotion that requires you to shed those garments is not me. Promotion that fits those garments perfectly is where I lead you. I am lifting specific burdens. The dread that sits in your chest when the bill arrives, I am breaking it. The shame that flares when you compare your pace to another's, I am healing it. The pressure to be your own source, I am canceling that assignment. You will feel the lightness of knowing you are backed by a covenant, not driven by a craving. Some obligations will be retired as you steward. Some streams you thought were dry will trickle and then flow. Some losses will be repurposed into wisdom that pays greater dividends than what you mourned. You will look back at seasons you called wasted and find stones of strategy you now stand upon. Listen to my decree again. In the courts of heaven, I have reviewed your case. I have stamped approved over assignments I kept you for, and I have dispatched help, angels to assist, people to partner, mentors to refine, intercessors to cover. What has been ordained for you will meet you as you walk in the fear of the Lord. No demon and no human can cross the boundary I have drawn around what I have assigned, unless pride builds its little gate from the inside. But I am keeping you low and loved. I am keeping you close and clean. I am giving you wealth power to establish my covenant, not to inflate your ego. Your abundance will fund mercy, extend justice, build households, seed callings, and create spaces where my name is honored above profit. Your children will learn to call me provider not by theory, but by memory. Lift your head, prepare your vessels, make room for ideas by clearing distractions, make room for favor by strengthening character, make room for open doors by simplifying what clutters your hands. Expect me at work in the early hours and the ordinary tasks. Take the meeting I highlight. Send the proposal I push across your heart. Revisit the plan I would not let you bury. Release the thing I told you to lay down so your hands are free for what is approaching. Do not race. Walk with me. I am not calling you into a frantic sprint through a maze. I am leading you into a spacious place where you build and sleep, where you labor and laugh, where you earn and worship, and none of it tears your soul. My beloved child, breakthrough is not a door slammed open by panic. It is a path revealed by presence. I am releasing power to build and to sustain. I am authorizing ideas. I am releasing favor. I am opening doors. And I am doing it with safeguards for your heart. Keep me first and touch the results last. Let your first reflex be worship, your next step be wisdom, your posture be humble, your pace be peaceful. Watch what follows. Steady increase, holy opportunities, clean victories that point back to me. This is my promise over you, and I do not speak to tease. I speak to create. Now take my hand and step forward, gentle, bold, sure. Father, I come. I slow my breathing and I bow my heart. I do not rush into this moment as if I am my own source. I lay down the tools, the numbers, the plans, and I lift my eyes to you. You are the one who remembers me. You are the one who keeps covenant. You are the one who gives power to get wealth so that your covenant is established in the earth. Here I am, your child, returning again. I repent. I turn from the places where my heart trusted itself more than it trusted you. I renounce pride that whispered, I did this when it was your hand with mine the whole time. I renounce the quiet self-sufficiency that made me pray last and plan first. I renounce fear-driven control, every late-night scramble to buy peace by overworking, overspending, over-explaining. Cleanse me, Father. Wash me from secret anxieties that pretend to be wisdom but are really unbelief in disguise. Create in me a clean heart. Renew a right spirit within me. Let dependence become my joy, not my shame. I confess that sometimes I have forgotten you in the harvest and blamed you in the famine. Today, I remember you. In lack and in plenty, I choose the same posture, hands open, head bowed, eyes lifted. I choose to begin with you and end with gratitude. I choose to celebrate your nearness more than my numbers. Teach me to remember. Tie a ribbon of remembrance around my routine. Let the first eyes I meet be yours. Let the first words I speak be worship. Let the first thought I think be trust. Father, according to your word, you are the one who gives power to get wealth for covenant purposes. I ask for that holy power now, not to inflate my ego, but to fund your mercy, to build your purposes, to bless households, to seed callings, to carve out spaces where your name is honored above profit. Release to me the power that looks like wisdom in decisions, favor with the right people at the right time, stability that steadies my emotions, opportunities that fit the assignment on my life, and faithful stewardship to handle increase without compromise. I do not ask for shortcuts. I ask for strength. I do not ask for applause. I ask for accuracy. I do not ask for fireworks. I ask for a steady flame. Give me wisdom, Lord. Wisdom for timing, wisdom for pricing, wisdom for contracts, wisdom for the yes and the no. Teach me to hear your pause and honor it. Make peace my green light, Make unease a gentle hand that turns me from danger. Let my decisions be built on listening, not on panic. I ask you to sharpen my mind, to focus my thoughts, to order my days. I ask you to make excellence feel natural and integrity feel non-negotiable. Give me favor, Lord. Favor that does not flatter me into compromise. Favor that makes humility sweet and prayer necessary. Raise voices to speak my name in rooms where I could not have entered on my own, and grant me the courage to say no to anything that would cost me my clean conscience. Open doors that fit me, close doors that would deform me. I trust your authorship of my path more than my appetite for speed. Strengthen my hands for work. Teach me diligence without striving, consistency without theatrics. I choose to finish what I start, to learn what I do not know, to keep my word even when the cost is real. Make my work worship. Let my emails carry the scent of integrity. Let my deliverables speak of care. Let my reputation be steady and clean, not showy and shallow. Train me in stewardship. Sit with me over the numbers, Lord. I submit my income, my expenses, my debts, my savings, my giving, my dreams to your counsel. I break agreement with impulsive spending and with image spending. I choose the 24-hour pause. I give every dollar an assignment under your supervision. Teach me to tell my money where to go so it cannot tell my heart who it is. Make tracking a testimony, not a torment. Make budgeting a prayer, not a punishment. Baptize me in generosity. I predecide to honor you with my first and my best. I open my hand to the poor, to your house, to the one you highlight in my path, the neighbor, the student, the single parent, the elder, the small business under strain. I give in secret to starve pride. I give in joy to train my children. I give consistently to keep my channels clear. Make generosity the language my soul speaks when fear tries to bargain. Establish me in rest. I repent for treating Sabbath as optional. I receive rest as obedience. I will lay down what I cannot carry. I will trust you to work while I sleep. Guard my nights from the idol of productivity. Seal my mornings with your voice. Slow me to match your pace. Deliver me from the counterfeit adrenaline of hurry. I choose the blessed rhythm where I build and sleep, labor and laugh, earn and worship, and none of it tears my soul. Now, Father, I ask for protection around the blessing you release. Deliver me from greed that is never satisfied. Deliver me from comparison that shrinks my gratitude. Deliver me from the itch to prove, to post, to purchase for applause. Deliver me from partnerships that look glittering but would yoke me to compromise. Deliver me from manipulative relationships that pressure my boundaries, drain my peace and mock my convictions. Highlight the leaks and give me grace to close them. Purify my circle. Do not let me rush to stitch back together ties you are untying. Shield me from opportunities that require me to mute my allegiance to you, to blur numbers, to hide my values. Make my nose keen to scent flattery. If a room would make me smaller in prayer to look bigger in people's eyes, I decline it now. If a purchase would enlarge my image but shrink my intimacy with you, I release it now. If a mentor wants my applause more than my growth, I step away with peace. I choose clean poverty over dirty wealth, but I thank you that you are not calling me to poverty. You are calling me to provision without pride. Father, I commit my obedience to you. I ask for consistency in prayer. Morning by morning, breath by breath, short, honest petitions that keep me close. I ask for courage in giving, first and best, even when numbers test me. I ask for integrity at work, truth in reporting, fairness in hiring, honor in selling, kindness in leadership. I ask for the courage to say no when a good thing is not a God thing for me. I ask for patience in the process, to not abandon the post in the last 5 minutes before dawn. I ask for gratitude in every season, harvest and drought, busy and still, beginnings and finishes. Anchor me in thanksgiving so pride cannot rewrite my history. I lift my family, my household, my team before you. Visit our table with wisdom. Unite our hearts in simple faith. Let our children learn to call you provider, not by theory, but by memory. Preserve our marriage, our friendships, our partnerships from money wars and silent resentments. Make our home a school of remembrance, numbers on the paper and testimonies in our mouths. We will rehearse your faithfulness. We will celebrate small payments and large deliverances with equal joy. Teach us to tell the story well. The Lord did this with us. And now, in your presence, I receive. I receive the power you give to create and to steward wealth as covenant provision. I receive holy ideas, clear, simple, timely. I receive favor with the right people at the right time on clean terms. I receive open doors that do not punish my soul. I receive stamina to finish assignments. I receive a renewed mind for wise structures. I receive a guarded heart where humility feels like home. I receive a pace that protects intimacy. I receive increase that becomes a testimony, not a trap. I also decree by agreement with your word, I will remember the Lord my God. I will keep your presence first and touch results last. I will measure my days not by applause but by obedience. I will wear humility as daily clothing. I will spend like a steward, not a slave to image. I will say no without guilt when you say no. I will say yes without fear when you say yes. I will remain under the shadow of your wings when doors open and when doors wait. Father, seal this in me. Write it on the tablets of my heart. Place watchmen at the gates of my eyes and ears. Let my first reflex be worship. My next step be wisdom. My posture be low. My pace be peaceful. Align my appetites with your will. Let me enjoy what you give without letting what you give own me. Keep me near when abundance arrives. Keep me tender when influence expands. Keep me awake when comfort whispers me to sleep. For every debt that must be addressed, lead me by a clean plan and a steady grace. For every contract on my desk, shine a light on the line that matters. For every proposal I must send, grant words that carry truth and clarity. For every client I must serve, let me reflect your character. For every decision that will shape the next season, make your peace decisive. And for every hour that still feels hidden, remind me again, your silence never means your absence. I will not leave my post. I will not despise small beginnings. I will not trade tomorrow's testimony for today's thrill. I thank you in advance for what you have decreed. Ideas, favor, open doors, released with safeguards for my heart. I bow now so I do not have to be brought low later. I choose your way so I do not have to be rescued from my own. I give you glory for what will soon be visible and for what will remain hidden between us. Let all of it tell one story. The Lord gave power, the Lord kept the heart, the Lord received the glory. In the name of Jesus, I pray and I agree. Amen. My friend, if your heart is in this prayer, make your agreement visible as a simple altar. Type in the comments, I will remember the Lord, and let that sentence become your banner over this season. If this word met you, place a like on it as a prophetic act, not for an algorithm, but as if signing your name to a covenant of humility and provision. And if you desire ongoing prayer and teaching in this journey, subscribe and turn on notifications so we can walk this path together. A community that remembers the Lord, receives His power to prosper, and keeps His presence first.